Hey friends, it's Thursday, and on Thursdays, I like to talk about action figures featuring guys who have participated in either TNA wrestling or Ring of Honor wrestling and made a big impact. Today we're talking about a TNA wrestler, and really the only TNA actual action figure I have. This is 2010 Jax figure, and before we talk about the figure, I want to talk a little bit about who this is. Sean Hernandez, he made a big splash in TNA from his very earliest days. At 6'2", 285 pounds, he was very imposing, very physical, yet very versatile. He could fly. The way he would do a tope over the top rope was like something you would see Mysterio do. Yet he had one of the coldest power bombs you'd ever see. He was very quick and explosive from his football background. Um, I would say he was a lot like the Undertaker and his more athletic times. Just a very exciting big man to watch. Um, he's debuted in 1996. He's been a mainstay of TNA on and off virtually since its beginning, even up until a couple of years ago. Um, let's see, what else is there to talk about this guy? He was, yeah, a two-time NWA Tag Team Champion when they were represented in TNA Wrestling, five-time TNA Tag Team Champion, twice with Chavo, once with Homicide, had a tag team with Matt Morgan, another one Anarchia. Um, a staple of the LAX stable, with guys coming through, Homicide, Chavo. Um, who else? We got the cats just left. I'm having crazy stuff. Proud and Powerful. They were part of the group. My brain is just kind of goofy today. But how could I forget Santana and Ortiz and Diamante and Eddie Kingston? I mean, you talk about a Latin American wrestler that was around in those days. Sarah Stock, and also Selena Vega, who you know in WWE. She was part of that stable. So it was a very, and Conan, of course, was a part of LAX. And so it was a very important stable in Impact Wrestling. And he's won numerous championships worldwide, from Europe to Mexico. And he's, like I said, he's still active, you know, going on almost 30 years in the business. And, nowadays you have guys like Jeff Cobb and Brian Cage. They get above and even stay around that 285 mark. But, they do all this flippy stuff and all this agile stuff. Back when he was doing it, he was the anomaly. Um, this figure is actually pretty cool. The one downside is the scale. If you look here at a comparable wrestler as far as size goes, um, these two side by side is not so bad, but I mean, you can tell that there is a huge difference here. Let's see what he looks like next to Montez Ford, since I got him out as well. Yeah, so Montez looks like a cruiserweight, next to a 6'2" Hernandez. And so the scale was a little bit off, but the detail and articulation for, 14 years ago, you look at this, we got double jointed, we got rotating shoulder here, bicep cut, exaggerated bicep, tricep. I think that's probably to add to the durability. Single jointed elbows, yeah, pretty mobile. We got the back and forth rocker, swivel head, of course, rotation on the hips, and then this is a weird thing with the ball joint right here. It's a ball joint with a very kind of an oddly cut leg going here. That's a double joint on the knee. And so back in 2010, this is some pretty good stuff. Mattel didn't start doing double jointed knees really until recently on their elites. So what were they? Yeah, pretty recently. I mean, the mobility was okay, but now they've added double jointed knees and elbows. But this is pretty revolutionary. And the heel is a combination. I haven't seen. You have a rotating heel with a ball joint underneath. So that is very interesting. But you look at the detail. You have all the tattoos in great detail. The Hernandez tattoo. You have the Mexican flag represented on the trunks. Um, I think that one thing that the big size does is it brings out the great detail in the tattoos and the graphics here. I try not to handle it a lot because with these older figures, you can get some paint wear, and I don't want to do that because this is in remarkable shape for an eBay buy. Um, so the paint's holding up real good. It's a little bit loose, but I mean it's an old used figure. But yeah, Sean Hernandez. If you have not heard of him, look for some of his stuff with Chavo, some of his stuff with Homicide. He was one of the guys that made TNA, that made it stand out as a major company. And I don't think he gets enough credit. We're always talking about AJ Styles, the Motor City Machine Guns, Bobby Roode. Um, all of these guys made a big impact, of course. But Impact Wrestling wouldn't be Impact Wrestling without LAX, without Sean Hernandez. And he had a great run in Lucha Underground too. Um, and it's cool because you watch him go from, young cat, cutting his teeth in the business and making his name to where now he's kind of in an elder statesman role, bringing guys up with him and really putting guys over and making guys look good. And, we need guys like that, guys who are in the business and they don't mind sacrificing their ego for the betterment of the company and of the future. So anyway, this has been a look at the Sean Hernandez TNA action figure Jakks 2010. You guys remember TNA Wrestling tonight at AXS. I'm watching Ring of Honor on Honor Club. So until next time, keep watching that wrestling, keep buying the action figures. I am out.